Hello and welcome to another episode of Lucas Studios, and today we're going over the execute command. And the execute command is very important because you will use it in pretty much any custom map you make or anything like that. So what does the execute command do? The execute command is basically like a check. So if this statement is true, it will run the command. So we will jump right into it now. So like we can do a simple one first because it's easy. The execute if is a good example because executing if something happens. And we can start with an easy command. We will execute if the diamond block that is right here, if there is a diamond block in front is there, we will say hey. So if we click this, it will say hey because there is a diamond block here. But if we remove this diamond block, it will not say anything because it doesn't find the diamond block here. So if we place it back, it will say hey. So that's basically the start in execute. It will check if something is true or false, and then it will make the command happen. So let's go over everything that's inside the execute if command. And or we can go over, because after we have specified what things we need to check before we can run the command. After that, we will run the command. So how do I run it? You need to just write run and then write the command you want. So basically, you can have as many statements or checks as you want. Like if I want to check if that block is a diamond or something, and then I can check if I want to check another block, or if I want to maybe. We will get to everything else. But if I want to check another block, and that is true, I can do so. But when I'm finished, I need to write run, and then I can run my command. We will go over everything in if right now. The other thing you can do is blocks. And this will check on from basically, if we have two blocks here, because this is positioned from this block to this block, so it will check everything in this area and compare it to right now this area, and check if it has the same amount of blocks in it. As you see here, there is two blocks here and one block here, so there is not as many blocks in both, so it will not execute a hello command. But if we place down a block there, it will say hey in the command. In the chat, I mean. So that's basically that. And now let's go over to the next one. It's the data. So the data command I haven't gone over yet, but I will in a future video. But that's a bit more complicated. But we have gone over NBT tags, and it has basically everything to do with NBT tags. So it can check if a NBT tag is true or not. And here we look in my inventory and check for if I have one diamond block. And then if I do, it will say hey. I have a diamond block in my inventory, so it will say hey. If I throw that away, it won't. So that's basically a simple data. But we will get into data commands more in a future video. Then we have the we will add the entity command with if. So this will check if this entity exists. So there is an entity on the server, so it will do the command. But as we see here, we can do execute at entity, maybe type sheep, and then we will close off. It won't play the command because there is no sheep in the world. if we spawn in a ship, then it will say that the ship exists. And that's basically how this command works. Then we have if score. So execute if score is basically you can check the score of someone. Let me put up the right thing there. We can check this. We can execute if the score is something like this. So here we have it. These are greater than. You understand? These are the basic math things, but if you use this, you need to compare to something else. Like we have a test player in the test, and this is if test is bigger, it will say hey. Huh? Yeah, exactly. Okay. Anyway, that's not the important thing, because you rarely never use this, because it's comparing to another thing, and matches is 10 times the better, because you can match exactly to the thing you want. So for example, I want to check if I have 5. That's true right now. It is. And then it will say hey, because I have 5 in this scoreboard. But if I now want to check everything that's bigger than 5, I can do this. I think that's bigger. I mean, we can check like, no, that's smaller than. No, that's bigger than. So everything that's bigger than 3, it will check. And if we then put it over here, it will check everything that's smaller than 3. So it won't put anything in the chat. I have gone over these dots in a different video, so you can go over to check those. But it basically works like that. Let's go over to the next one. The align command. The align command, it's basically if you want to align yourself in a different axis, you can. So here we will align the nearest player to the x coordinate, and then we will teleport him to the middle. So here I will be teleported to the middle of the x line, as we see here. And you can do this as many axes as you want. So if we want to add the zeta, we can. And then I will be put into the middle, and then we can put in the y, and then I will put it into the middle of the block. That's basically if you want to center your player. So this is a different use case. You can change the position also of the command that you will do later. As we see here, we use relative commands that we have gone over in a different video. But those are basically will check at the relative commands. So now we need to go over at and as, because they are very tied together with this. So as is basically we will execute the command as me, and at is basically if you want to execute the command at me. So there is a difference between those, because if I do this, it will still execute at this block. Oh. Yeah, it will still execute at this block instead of any other block. But the at command will execute at me instead. Like that. See, it will place down where I am. So that's how you change the coordinates of the command. The anchored is basically about the local commands. I haven't gone over local commands yet, but I can do it basically very fast. Local commands is when you use these higher than, I don't know, these I have a bit forgotten, but these have three. Yeah. The first one is when you want to teleport to the left or right. So if I put in 5 here, I will be teleported to the left. And if I put in -5, I will be teleported to the right. If I want to use this, I will be teleported up and down, and this will be forward and backwards. And this is relative to how I look. So if I look there, I will be teleported there. So that's basically how you use those commands. And anchored is basically if you want to change the anchored point where these commands start from. And this is basically if you want it to check from the feet or if you want to check it from the eyes. So if you want to go 4 blocks forward, it will check from the feet instead of the eyes. Let's check out the next. This has also with local commands very much to do. It's the facing command. And the facing command will change the rotation, but it won't show up. And this is also a trick. When you're doing execute commands and you want it to execute both as a player and at the player, you can always do, you first find the selector and then you use @s. But @s I have gone over in different videos. But @s is very useful if you want to use the same selector as the first one all the time through all the commands. But facing is basically it will change the how I'm rotated in the command to the block. So this is it will check the facing of these coordinates, and then I will teleport against them. Like this. Now I will be teleporting against these coordinates, but I'm not even looking at them. So that's pretty neat, because that position is over there. Let's go over to the next one. The in command. The in command is also very basic. You can execute a command in a different dimension. So if you want to teleport the player to the end or the nether, you can do this so like this, and this will teleport me to the nether like this. And I want to go back now because like that. You understand? It will teleport you to the position in nether. So that's pretty neat. Positioned is basically you can change the position of where you execute the command to an exact position. So here I have wrote down 100, 100, 100, and there is the place the command is going to be executed at. So if we set a block there, relative commands, remember that, redstone block. Oh, I don't know where the 100, 100, there it is. And yeah, that will put it at 100 and 100. Run I have gone over, store I will soon, and unless is basically the if command but reverse. So it will check if the command is, so if we go over here, this is the block thing. If we change this to unless, this will do the reverse. So there is a diamond block there, it won't run, but when it is not a diamond block there, it will run. So it's just the reverse. Now we will go over to the store command. That's a bit more complicated, and I will not go into more advanced stuff with it. But I will show off this little example that is very easy to understand it by. So we will activate this one. So the command is the result command here is how you save it. You can save a value that you get by the command you're running later into a scoreboard or something else. So if you check here, we can save it into different things. This is with NBT tags and this is boss bar, but we will save it into a scoreboard that's here, and we will save it to me and on X level. So if we see here, I will save it, the score, to the X level, and then I will get the thing I want to save, and that's, I will use the data get entity position 0, and this will get the X level of my this will get the X level and put it in the score because we save it here. So if we check, if we go around, it will, okay, it won't work. Because that's, yeah, if we check here, it will change when I am on the different X level. So that's pretty neat, and that's basically a very, very rough explanation on how execute commands work. Thanks for watching, bye bye.